Welcome to the Bleacher Preacher podcast. We are at the halfway point of the Major League Baseball season. Rob, how are we feeling about baseball so far?
Well, the Cubs have a lot of ups and downs, but the NL Central is the most competitive division in the league. If you look at the stat, the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Cincinnati Reds, I believe, are in last place, but they're 6 games out. No other second place team in any division is 6 games out, save for the Phillies, who are like 6 games out on the dot. So the most competitive division. And, of course, you're probably not going to have a good record coming out of that just because you're playing really good teams. As far as the Cubs themselves, some days they look like world beaters. Some days they don't. Ups and downs. You just hope by the time October rolls around, the team is firing on all cylinders. I believe they're going to send, I want to say 4 to 5, maybe 6 All-Stars this year, which is a nice, healthy season.
Well, it's funny you mentioned All-Stars because that is actually going to be one of our main topics today. We are going to build our All-Star teams. We're going to kind of trot back through the first 81 games for most of the teams. Teams are in that like weird 78 to like 82-ish, 83-ish range. So we're going to call it the halfway point, even though it's not the official halfway point, but we're going to go over who's in a good spot, who's got to get their act together. And believe me, I have my points ready about the Red Sox bullpen, who blew their 13th game today. 12th or 13th. I don't know. I've lost track. So we're going to kick it off with the all-star selections, Rob. So let's just kind of walk through the positions here. You're going to kick out your selection. I'll kick out mine, and we'll kind of compare when we get to the end. How's it sound?
Perfect.
All righty. So to get it rolling, and it's funny, is I'm actually going to cast my votes as we go along. So going to do a little something different here. So let's kick it off at first base, Rob. In the American League, your 3 choices are C.J. Cron, Carlos Santana, and Luke Voit. Who are you like out of the AL?
Just to break down the candidates, Luke Voit has had a really good year for the Yankees. He's solidified that first base position. Who was the lefty that just everybody hated?
Greg Bird.
Oh my God, Greg Bird. Yeah, so Greg Bird's a forgotten name now in the Yankee land. Luke Voit has been a very good player for them. Carlos Santana has had a really big bounce-back year after struggling for the Phillies. But my vote is going for C.J. Cron and the Minnesota Twins, who have had an amazing first half of the season.
I don't even think amazing gives them credit. Is that and again, credit back to you for, saying that the Twins were going to be good and they were going to be in the picture at the end of the season here. They've blown past expectations. And C.J. Cron, who's been an afterthought in Anaheim and down in Tampa, magically finds his stick up in Minnesota. So big tip of the cap to him. So we're liking C.J. Cron here?
I'm going C.J. Cron. He's hitting 280, 17 home runs, 52 RBIs, 870 OPS. What more can you ask for?
I am on board with C.J. Cron as my starting first baseman. On the NL side, I'm going to need you to change out your hat for a second because I'm going to think there's going to be a little bit of homerism, but I could be wrong. We have Anthony Rizzo, Freddie Freeman, and Josh Bell. Wow, that is a deep selection of first basemen, and that is before we even talk about who is excluded.
Yeah, so no Paul Goldschmidt, no Joey Votto.
Nope.
Cody Bellinger's an outfielder now, so that makes it a lot easier for first baseman. A lot of big names at first base. I'm going to vote for Anthony Rizzo, but I think Freddie Freeman deserves to start, if that makes sense.
It does make sense. Like, I don't want to say there's a wrong answer with any of these, but I don't know, man. I've really liked Josh Bell this first half. That OPS over 1,000 right now let's be honest, the Pirates lineup is not exactly filled with, elite talent. He's taken off. He's really shown out this year.
Yeah, he's made good on his potential. The past couple of years, he was on a cusp of something. He was ready to go, and now you see him put everything together. The month of May that he had, I believe he was player of the month for month of May. He had a very, very like just destructive force in the lineup, just doubles everywhere, homers everywhere, just extra bases galore. He was slugging, and he's had a really good year. But I still think Freddie Freeman is the best first baseman in not only the NL but in the whole major leagues. Very, very good glove, hits for average, hits for power, in a first place team, heart of that lineup, drives in run, everyday reliable. Freddie Freeman, I still feel like Freddie Freeman comes off as an underrated player, so that might lead into me wanting to get him as much recognition as possible. But yeah, I'm going Freddie Freeman.
Again, it's not necessarily a wrong answer. I'm going to stick out. I'm going to cast my vote for Josh Bell. Before we move on to the next position, I actually came across this stat I saw on the MLB Instagram page. There's a possibility for 19 first-time All-Stars this season alone. I think that's awesome to show how much the star power is starting to grow in this game. And I know baseball's caught in a lot of flack for not really pushing or marketing their stars, but I think the actual baseball fans and the people who follow the sport are really starting to give credit to the players that deserve it. That's just me, though.
Yeah, you're gonna see guys from not only the big cities of Chicago and New York and whatnot and LA, but a team in Minnesota is gonna send multiple All-Stars. Houston is a good team, but it's not really one of the big market cities. Tampa Bay is going to send a couple of guys as well, and they don't even draw fans. The Royals probably get one in, even though they're a bad team. So I know MLB has the rule where every team needs to be represented with an All-Star, but there's not really somebody that's not going to be deserving. Like even the Baltimore Orioles, like Trey Mancini is going to be an All-Star. He probably deserves to go. There's not really a guy that you're just like, oh, what is he's just there,
And that's where we'll go over snubs later, but unfortunately someone's going to catch the raw end of this. Moving on to second base. On the AL side, we have Jose Altuve, Tommy La Stella. Who would have saw that one coming? And the re-emergence of DJ LeMahieu.
Yeah, I'm voting Tommy La Stella.
I'm going to have to agree with you. Altuve, unfortunately, he was just too banged up in the first half. And yeah, LeMahieu's had an excellent season at the plate. The guy's batting .336 right now. My goodness. But the emergence of Tommy La Stella, he's become a viable piece for the Angels.
Yeah, so he's had more home runs in the first half than the last 5 years combined. I say we, but me being a Cubs fan and being a Tommy La Stella fan, because he'd come off the bench cold in slippers and get a base hit to left. His nickname is 3 a.m. because he could roll out of bed at 3 a.m. and probably get a pinch hit single. I love Tommy La Stella for the time that he's at Chicago. The thing with Tommy La Stella in Chicago is we knew he was going to be good as an everyday player. We just didn't have an everyday player spot for him. David Bodie's here, Addison Russell, Ian Happ, Ben Zobrist. There was just way too many pieces. They signed Daniel Descalso. Way too many pieces for La Stella. And I'm glad that he's in LA, and I'm glad he's having a chance to play every day. And by playing every day, he's just shown how good of a hitter he is.
And the Angels we've talked about how they've needed help wherever they could get it. This could be a starting piece. So we're putting Tommy La Stella in the All-Star game. On the NL side, we have Ozzy Albies, Ketel Marte, and Mike Moustakas, who I'm sorry is not a second baseman. He's just playing there by default because the Brewers can't field a decent defensive lineup. I'm going with Ozzy, man. This was a tough one between him and Marte, but I just love Albies' game right now. Absolutely love it.
Albies is a very, very good player. I do love his game. I like what he's done this year. He is a Cubs killer. So I know firsthand how good of a player he is because every time he plays the Cubs, it just seems like he rakes. By saying saying that, though, I'm going with Ketel Marte. Ketel Marte has taken a step this year. He's shown a lot more power this year than he has beforehand. He made the transition from being an infielder to center field, and he's able to bounce around everywhere in that defensive lineup, and he's been a very, very solid bat. He's producing, I think he's at what, 22 home runs, 21 home runs. He's raking, and he's playing with a Diamondback team that everybody thought was going to be probably like the worst in the league. And then you look at them, and they've actually played respectable baseball, and a big reason why is Ketel Marte. So if I had to vote, which I do, I'm going Ketel Marte.
Again, not a wrong answer in this. That was a tough one for me, but I'm giving my nod to Ozzy Albies. And again, credit to Marte. And it's funny, before we jumped on this episode, we went over the trade that Ketel Marte was a part of a couple seasons ago when the Mariners sent him down to Arizona in exchange for Mitch Haniger and some other pieces. Kind of a win now for the Diamondbacks, right?
Yeah, just because, well, I mean, they're both not really winning much. So there's that. Like, it didn't really contribute to much wins, but I want to say it's kind of a crapshoot. I'd say it's a crapshoot.
Fair enough. Going on to third base for the AL side, we are looking at Alex Bregman, Hunter Dozier of the Kansas City Royals, and Gio Urshela of the New York Yankees. This one was a tough one for me, but then after really look, I'm like, it's got to be Bregman.
It's 100% got to be Bregman. Like, why? Bregman was like the only guy that didn't get hurt for the Houston Astros. Like, Altuve missed time, Springer missed time. Who else missed time? They had to call up Yordan Alvarez, who is ridiculous. Carlos Correa is still hurt. He's still out. And Bregman has just been the rock in that lineup. And Bregman is going to, by the end of the season, I think Bregman's going to firmly entrench himself in MVP talks. There's not really a runaway MVP in the AL. Mike Trout is still Mike Trout, but voters get Mike Trout fatigue. Mike Trout can't win every MVP because we're at a point where we know Mike Trout is good. Mike Trout deserves the MVP, but we kind of just give the award to other people. So right now, I think the front runner is Jorge Polanco, which we'll get to. But I think Alex Bregman by the end of the year is going to be firmly entrenched and might have an actual big chance of winning an MVP.
And he can still get better. That's the thing for Bregman, is he already has a very good game. He's already been shown he can perform in the playoffs. He's a World Series champion, and he still has room to improve. That's what's scary. So he's going to be a rock.
He's getting help. Yeah, he's getting help. Everybody else is healthy again, so he's not the focus of the lineup anymore.
Yeah, the Astros are rearing back up, and that's going to be a scary lineup now. My God, there's going to be
Yeah, and Yordan Alvarez just came out of nowhere, and he just clobbers everything that's pitched. So now, like, that's just another wrinkle on top of that. Like,
what more can a lineup do at that point? But we'll see with the Astros. Here's a tough one on the NL side. You have Nolan Arenado, Chris Bryant, and Josh Donaldson. I don't know why Donaldson is on this final three grouping, but this is like a 1-1A with Arenado and Bryant, and it's probably going to be this way for at least the next 5 to 7 years.
Definitely. Before we do that, I want to touch on Anthony Rendon. Definitely deserves to be an all-star this year. I think he is going to be an all-star this year, and I don't know how Josh Donaldson beat him out in the vote, but Rendon should definitely be in Donaldson's spot. With that being said, I'm going to vote for Chris Bryant, but I think Nolan Arenado should get the start.
And it's funny that you say the Rendon part, because he was part of the thinking from the Nationals of how they thought they were going to be okay after Harper. Like, okay, we'll have Juan Soto. He's essentially going to replace Bryce in the outfield, but Rendon was going to be the do-everything bat in the middle of the lineup, and he's very deserving of an all-star nod this year. Unfortunately, he's one of those guys that just won't get it. but I think he's still a really, really good player. It's just he has major competition in front of him right now.
Yeah, like I said, I think he does make the roster as not the lone representative of Washington. I think Washington, does get Scherzer and Doolittle in, but at the same time, I think Rendon's a lock. He just isn't in the at worst. He's definitely going to win the final vote. It's if I had to pick, Rendon's like the biggest snub so far in this voting.
Alrighty, so we're moving on to shortstop. You teased yours a little bit earlier, but for the American League, we have Carlos Correa, Jorge Polanco, and Gleyber Torres. I think it's got to go to Polanco here.
Yeah, it's Jorge Polanco. Like I said, he's one of my front runners for MVP right now, non-Mike Trout division. The only thing is Carlos Correa, man. Carlos Correa, he got hurt, so it kind of sucks. And then secondly, Gleyber, former Cub Gleyber Torres, he's been a monster this year, hitting home runs all over. The Orioles have nightmares of Gleyber Torres. I think Torres has hit like 9 home runs against the Orioles. Gleyber is really good too. I like Gleyber. I loved him when he was in the Cubs system. But it has to go to Jorge Polanco and the Twins. The Twins just had a good year. Jorge Polanco's their best offensive player.
That's one of those, if Correa is healthy the whole year, maybe he gets more of a consideration. And, we'll touch on the Yankees here after we're, through at this part, but they're not they're not in the position they are right now if it's not for Gleyber Torres. But just the numbers and performance of Polanco alone has absolutely helped propel the Twins to where they are right now. On the NL side, it kind of feels like a formality just to say the 3 options, but I'm pretty sure me and you have the same answer here. We have Javi Baez, Trevor Story, and Dansby Swanson. No knock against Trevor Story. He always has shown that he's a capable hitter in Coors Field, but his defense has actually impressed me a little bit this year. But it's Javi Baez, man.
Yeah, 100% going Javi Baez. That's my guy. Trevor Story's had a really good year. Trevor Story's going to make an all-star team. Trevor Story has proved me wrong. Trevor Story is cut down on – well, he's not cut down on his strikeouts, but I guess he's gotten better at managing his strikeouts, making a lot more contact, hitting towering home runs. Trevor Story is a really good player, but I can't not vote Javi.
Oh, it almost feels criminal not to, and – if he's probably going to end up batting leadoff for the NL, he'll get on base, try and steal as soon as he can, get his uniform dirty, do all those fun Javi Baez things we just admire so much.
He led off last year with a single right up the middle against Chris Sale.
Yeah, we were watching that live.
Yeah, that's my guy.
Then I believe, was it the next inning, Contreras went deep? Or 2
It was a couple innings. I don't know if it was like the next inning, but a couple innings later, Contreras did go deep. Well, good times.
Well, we call that a tease because we might be revisiting that individual later. Catching for the AL, your options are Robinson Chirinos, James McCann, and Gary Sanchez.
I'm going Gary Sanchez on this one. He's just killed pitching. He's been really good offensively. I know he still has a lot to be desired defensively. But he's just so much better offensively than everybody else that I'm going to go and vote for him. I like what James McCann has done. He's hit for a really good average, but he's also had limited playing times. They don't ever play him against lefties. He's getting cherry-picked his matchups. He's split time with Wellington Castillo. So that's why his numbers look a little bit better than they should. Robin Chirinos is really good. He's been a good addition to Houston, who, they just get players at every position that rakes. So, Chirinos is really good and whatnot, but I have to go Gary Sanchez on this one.
The big thing with Gary this year, and I'm going with Sanchez as well, it's like he's back to giving a damn. I know he got knocked last year for not running balls out, being very suspect behind the plate at times, but when he's at the plate, he's back to being locked in, and he's capable of hitting a ball 450 whenever he feels like it now. So that's just another scary bat in the Yankees lineup. is Gary Sanchez when he cares, and now it's probably going to get him in the All-Star game. Again, I have a hunch on your pick here for the NL catcher. We have Wilson Contreras, Yasmani Grandal, and Brian McCann.
Brian McCann somehow making the vote over like JT Realmuto as well. JT Realmuto, I think JT Realmuto gets in. I think it's between JT Realmuto and Yasmani Grandal as the backup catcher. But the starter is 100% going to be Wilson Contreras, who has had a really bad, a horrible second half of the season last year. And this season, he's more locked in. He owned his mistakes. He said that he didn't work hard enough last year. It showed in his performance. He said he was going to come back strong, and he was just going to, get after it and keep working and making sure that he's prepared and being good. And we're seeing it. We're seeing a hungry Contreras, and we're seeing him just absolutely take off. He had a homer and a triple today as well. He plays with a lot of emotion. He's just joy. He's fun to watch.
Now, you say the emotion part. A couple of nights ago, him and Tyler Flowers got into it behind the plate, and
yeah, that was funny.
Come on, Tyler Flowers. Come on, man. What don't do the whole get off my lawn ordeal. Like, come on. That's all I gotta say. Is just drop it, dude.
Yeah, pretty funny to me, but no worries there. No harm, no foul. Really, no harm, no foul. I like emotions in baseball. I like guys that care. I like guys that give a damn. If people are jawing at each other, that means they're competitive. There's only a couple people where it's like, yeah, I hate you. You can go F off. But for the most part, it's just in the moment competitiveness, and that I like competitiveness.
100% co-sign on that, sir. Alrighty, this is going to be a tough one for both the AL and NL. So we're at the outfield stage, so we'll each pick 3 outfielders, as we've been doing so. But I don't think they have to be necessarily, a full-time left fielder, full-time center fielder, full-time right field. We'll just fill in the outfield. So going down the list for the American League, we will start with Mookie Betts, Michael Brantley, Joey Gallo, Aaron Judge, Austin Meadows, Josh Reddick, Eddie Rosario, George Springer, and Mike Trout. I think we'll go ahead and get the easy one out of the way. We'll both have Mike Trout, right?
Mike Trout is in.
Okay. You were very high on Eddie Rosario, part of the Surprising Twins. Is he one of yours?
Eddie Rosario is not one of mine. I think Eddie Rosario has a chance to make the All-Star team, but outfield is a little stacked. So I know he missed a lot of time, but I'm going to reward him anyways just because of how much better he's gotten this year. It's Joey Gallo would be my number 2.
The strikeouts are down. The average is actually creeping up back towards 300. And I was shocked when I went and saw him play. I'm like, why is Joey Gallo in the outfield? He's a third baseman. And I saw he was a capable outfielder. So he's an outfielder that rakes.
That too. Yeah, so I honestly would go ahead and go Joey Gallo. Now the third outfield spot for me is very, very tough. Mookie is probably the best player of the bunch. Mookie, base running, defensively, all that. Mookie's got the whole package, the whole game. He's just not had the best year this year. And then you have 2 teammates who is the people that I don't know who to pick. You have George Springer versus Michael Brantley. Michael Brantley has been healthy all season, but George Springer, when George Springer was healthy, was the more impact player. So do I knock him for missing games, or do I propel Springer for how impactful he was? It's like before Springer got hurt, he was probably the front runner for the MVP. So I honestly will go Springer, but I think Brantley does make the roster. I think Betts makes the roster as well. And those would probably be like my 5 outfield guys to get on the roster.
All very good points. Hard to argue against those. With the Mookie thing, yeah, he's having a down year, but even his down year is still pretty good in most regards. It's just not the Mookie that we are used to seeing. I hope he rediscovers his swing and his style here in the next second half of the season. I'm too going to reward Joey Gallo. I think he's done a good job to get himself into a more well-rounded, not only player at the plate, but in the field as well. And he might end up being the Rangers' lone representative. So I'm going to go ahead and give the nod to him. And my last one will go to George Springer, just because of before getting hurt, how good he was performing. And he's going to be able to pick it right back up here pretty soon. So Betts is probably going to get in there as well. And I'm sure just because of Yankee Nation, we'll find a way to get Judge in there too. But I digress.
Yeah, Judge might make it as the sixth outfielder. You might carry six outfielders just so you have one at each position.
Major League Baseball is going to want Judge at All-Star Weekend. That's one of your recognizable stars of the game. And, you at least want him on the national stage.
Yeah, I wouldn't pick Judge though. I like Eddie Rosario would make my team before Judge does. Max Kepler probably makes my team before Judge does. So if Judge does make the team, I'm not gonna cry. I don't care too much, but I would prefer somebody else other than Judge make the team, because I think Judge is gonna make 5 to 7 more All-Star games in the future. He just, he was not healthy this season. That's just what it was. He'll make more
easily. But if he misses one, it'll be a bummer, but not, an end-all be-all. Now, for the NL, this one could be a little tough. We have Ronald Acuna Jr., Albert Almora Jr., Cody Bellinger, Charlie Blackmon, Jason Hayward, Nick Markakis, Jock Peterson, Kyle Schwarber, and Christian Yelich. We'll just go ahead and say Cody Bellinger's in. I mean, batting 354 at damn near the All-Star break is unheard of.
He's in. And just we'll go ahead and put Christian Yelich in. That's a lock. So now it just comes down to, in my opinion, it's between Ronald Acuna Jr. and Charlie Blackmon. I think that's the battle. I think they both make the All-Star team. It's just the battle of who's going to start. I'm going to go Ronald Acuna Jr. for the new star. That's where I'm going.
That was going to be mine as well. You were very high on him coming into the show last year, and he had a great rookie campaign, and he's picked up where he's left off. The bat continues to show great promise. The glove is only going to continue to get better. And he's leading those young Braves right now. Well, not the leader, but he's going to be a name that's going to be hard to ignore down in Atlanta.
Yeah, definitely. First All-Star game, pretty much on the verge of superstardom, and he's going to show up. He's going to be just like Javi Baez. It's going to be fun watching Acuna and Javi Baez on the same team. Just Acuna does everything you need. He's a good defensive outfielder. He hits for power. He hits for average. He's very, very fast. He runs. He takes extra bases. He's fun to watch. Braves are having a good year. Acuna's their front runner. Going to be great watching them in the All-Star break. All-Star team.
Now, with the All-Star game being played in American League ballpark, there will be a DH rule. So there's no exact candidate for the National League, but I'm pretty sure there'll be some good options here of just the guys that we haven't mentioned, or that we have mentioned that just might have not cut it in their positions. But on the AL side, your 3 choices are JD Martinez, Nelson Cruz, and Hunter Pence.
Hunter Pence has had a very good year. Good for you, Hunter Pence.
For someone who was essentially washed up in an afterthought in San Francisco, he's enjoying a nice homecoming and the twilight of his career now in Texas. Let me continue to whack some baseballs out of the ballpark here and there.
Yeah, good for you, Hunter Pence. Just that's all I have to say. I'm gonna go JD Martinez, just because we've touched on off air. We've talked about JD Martinez struggling a little bit. Hit 320 first month of the season. Second month of the season he was at 250. The last month is June. He's been a little bit better, hitting 270, but he's not what he was last season. He's not what he was 2 seasons ago when he played for Detroit and Arizona. So he's been good. He's just not been JD Martinez good. I think if he does miss the All-Star break, that gives him, a week off and have him rest and be ready for the stretch run. So there's that too. But JD Martinez, I think I would go JD Martinez.
Again, not a typical JD season, but still respectable. Batting 287, 17 bombs, 45 RBIs. If he doesn't get it, I think the rest and time away will kind of help him rejuvenate a little bit. But we fully expect him to get this turned around. So that pretty much does it for our All-Star ballots. We're pretty close, down most of the lines. No real disagreements anywhere. Like there was a couple where, I went with, say your second choice and then vice versa as well. So just by looking at some of the names we have on here, we mentioned how many people could be first-time All-Stars. This is a reality. Like we're looking at possibly 10 plus at least.
Yeah, definitely. That's going to be fun to watch. Like Polanco's making his first All-Star. La Stella's making his first All-Star appearance. Acuna's making his first All-Star appearance. Those guys are going to be fun to watch. Just watching baseball get younger and having that talent that's just coming up, and letting the kids play and just seeing how much talent is going to be there. It's just going to be fun to watch. It's going to be a celebration of baseball.
Oh, easily. And I think once that youth and or not just youth, but like just the younger generation of stars begins to breathe new life into the game, I think that's going to kind of help right the ship with just the overall perception and how baseball is perceived now as kind of like that lull summer sport where there is excitement. There are storylines to follow, and I know it might be tough for the casual fan to sit through 162 games. We're not telling you to watch every game, every pitch, but these are the guys you want to pay attention to. Like they make watching the game fun.
Yep. I mean, I'm not even going to watch 162 games. I will watch about 145, but I'm not even going to get through 162 games.
Fair enough. So let me go ahead and hit review and submit. We are all set on there. What? They want me to fill out personal information. You are not getting my... You know what? No more. Nope. Can't do it, MLB. You're not getting my personal information. Don't need it.
I made a fake email. Well, not a fake email. I have an email where, it's the spam email. It's like, hey, can you make an account? And then I'll just use one of my emails that I never check. That's probably inbox is full, 3,000 emails there sitting. But yeah,
the man's got burner accounts for All-Star voting. That's great, man. So now, we said at the top of the show about this being the unofficial end of the first half. We're gonna look back at the past, or not even the past, the first half of the season, and I'm gonna start off and just, even though they're my sworn rival, tip of the hat to the Yankees right now. You lose your stars to injury for a good chunk of the first half of the season. Still in first place right now on a 28-game home run streak. Granted, they play in a Little League stadium, but that's neither here nor there. But, respect has to go to the Yankees and Aaron Boone for not only putting out a damn near AAA lineup sometimes, but beating teams they should be, and right now in the discussion for a World Series contender.
Yeah, lineup is very, very deep. I think really it's them and the Astros. I think the Astros are, man, once the Astros get healthy, that's going to be a scary club. I think it's probably going to go down to those two. Still holding out hope that it is going to be the guys in Minnesota. I would love the World Series to go to Minnesota. That'd be awesome to me. But yeah, the Astros had the same issues as the Yankees. A lot of injuries. They're getting healthy. The Yankees getting healthy. But Stanton, did we know what happened to Stanton? I know he got replaced by Gardner last game. So there could be an issue there with Stanton. But the Yankees are getting healthy again. So they're primed for a second half run. It's going to be fun to watch.
Just on Stanton, the last I heard, he was taken out of the game. It says he's going to be reevaluated in 10 days. So, this could be another. yeah, this could be another lingering thing for young Giancarlo, but hopefully Clint Frazier didn't unpack everything.
Clint Frazier, back to the majors he goes. It's like, oh my God, that's Clint Frazier's music. He's back.
Well, we'll keep it in New York right now. My God, have the Mets outdone themselves this year? They're already in their collapse, free fall mode. You have the manager trying to fight and confront reporters. There's just outright chaos. They're trying to move their shortstop now to the outfield in Ahmed Rosario, who apparently can't field grounders cleanly. But Pete Alonso's nice. He's fun.
Pete Alonso is really good. Pete Alonso's going to make the All-Star team.
That was another one I forgot. The All-Star closer that they got from the Mariners last year, Edwin Diaz, has completely burnt out. Who saw that coming?
Yeah, who would have thought that, him pitching in tremendous high leverage situations for the Seattle Mariners would come back and bite him because he's having a down year. Who would have thought that would happen?
It's almost like it's connected to the Mariners, who are also in their own form of a free fall, who in the offseason started their fire sale by shipping out the Robinson Cano contract, but essentially gave away Edwin Encarnacion to the Yankees for a set of new rakes. There's some dumb teams right now in baseball.
Very dumb teams. Very, very dumb teams in baseball.
Eloy Jimenez for the White Sox has been a pleasant surprise. It's nice seeing a prospect come up through I don't want to say the unknowns, but someone who wasn't getting the same buzz as some of the other bigger names would. The kid's got raw power. My goodness.
He's going to be better next year.
I forgot where he was, but I believe he hit one to the
he was with the Cubs AAA farm team, or no, he was with the Cubs AA farm team, and he literally hit a light tower, like the light in a light tower. That's light tower power. His first home run at Comiskey, air quotations. What is it? Guaranteed rate field? Jesus.
Something stupid like that.
Comiskey. His first home run is Comiskey. Went like 470. So the man has light tower power, and he's shown a lot of power this year. He's probably gonna hit 30 home runs. When he gets some seasoning, when he learns to recognize pitches better, when he gets that batting average up, when he gets that on base percentage up, and pitchers have to make good pitches to get him out, he's going to be scary. He's going to be somebody that we're going to watch next season that might be an all-star in the making. I have that much hope for him.
I'm booking it right now, next year's all-star game. I don't know about you. I got love for your boy Javi Baez. Watch out for Fernando Tatis Jr. I think he's going to make a push for an all-star bid next year.
Well, next season, Javi Baez might play third and make an all-star team at another position for some reason.
So Chris Bryant's moving to the outfield?
There's a chance. Chris Bryant tonight started at right field, by the way.
Why doesn't he go to the outfield? He can do that.
Yeah, there's that too. Javi started last season at second base. He's going to start this season at shortstop. He's going to have 2 30 home run, 100 RBI seasons at second base, at shortstop, 2 different positions, which has never been done before ever. So Javi might be a third next season. Who knows? I don't think he's going to be a third. I think he's going to stay short, but there's a possibility something happens.
Didn't you say he has his own catcher's glove just for that day? Like he's ready for it?
It's probably not his catcher's glove, but I wouldn't be surprised if he has one ready to go if need be.
Oof. I feel like I'm forgetting another young stud that I wanted to talk about. Well, since I have the floor for it right now, this is going to be a Rafael Devers appreciation moment, because if he's not in the Red Sox lineup right now, they would be in a lot tougher position than they already find themselves in. But he has discovered a new level at the plate, and I'm all for it. Go get it, Rafi.
Rafi came out of nowhere. He's just hitting for power now. He's just out there raking. He's in the middle of that. If it wasn't for Rafi Devers, that the lineup is not looking as strong. Just because JD's had a tough season and Mookie's had a tough season, but Devers and Xander Bogaerts they've really carried the ship, offensively in Boston. So if you get Devers and you get Xander playing the way they're playing, and then you get a better second half from Benny, and you get a better second half from JD, a better second half from Mookie, this team is going to be very scary coming down the stretch.
It's pretty much the same team that won the World Series last year, and we touched on it in prior episodes about just the natural regression, but there's just been way too many games and stretches where they're far below expectations. Speaking on Xander, not getting any kind of all-star love right now, even though he's in the top 3 for most major, if not all, hitting categories for American League and all shortstops in the major leagues. I know shortstop's a tough position right now to shine at just because of the overall depth at the position, but boy, Xander's getting snubbed.
I think he makes it to the All-Star team. I think he does. He's a nice one to look out for. Another snub, just because we're on that topic. Brandon Lowe for Tampa Bay. I think he makes the team. I like what Brandon Lowe's been doing this season. I just want to mention that Brandon Lowe's had a really good season. I want to see him on the All-Star team.
I would also say probably falling into the snub category. You really can't say he's a snub. I would say, looking at where Bryce Harper was at the All-Star break last year versus where he is now, it's kind of surprising. Like, he was the toast of the town in D.C. at the Home Run Derby. It was like his event to host. Now he's nowhere near the conversation this year. Like, I'm not saying it's a snub. Like, he doesn't deserve to be anywhere near it. It's just crazy how fast that happened.
Yeah, he's had a tough time. If the Phillies send an all-star, it's going to be Gene Segura.
Which I think can be argued as their saving grace in the lineup right now, because he's been pretty much their only consistent hitter for the first half. Realmuto's been up and down. You don't know what you're going to get out of Rhys Hoskins sometimes. I believe Adubel Herrera's been hit or miss too. I'm missing another one. Mikael Franco. They're great. They're good players, but they just haven't been able to put it all together yet. So right now, it's thank goodness for Gene Segura.
Yeah, definitely. Just doubling back on the Bryce. It's hard being a $330 million man and having all that expectations, everything on him, and then not making an all-star team. But he's not played well. Do I think it's a mistake? No, you pay him that money. He is generational talent. And I think he does right the ship. I think this is just a blip. And then, speaking of $300 million men, Manny Machado is nowhere near all-star consideration too. It's crazy. The two biggest guys, biggest contracts, Machado and Harper, they're going to miss the all-star game.
I truly believe Manny Machado doesn't care. He's happy just to play baseball where he doesn't have to necessarily meet expectations. He gets to show up, play in a nice weather city, nice ballpark, some good young teammates to kind of, hang out with. But outside of that, it's, you haven't heard about his his shenanigans where he does these, kind of shady slides, some of those Bush League tactics he's done before. You just don't hear peep out of Manny these days, and it's not necessarily a good thing, but not a bad thing at the same time. He's just here. He's just happy to be a Padre and wallow around in the middle of the NL West.
Yeah, could be worse. He's been on fire the past 3 weeks. It's not going to be enough for him to make it to the All-Star game, but he's actually been really, really good the past couple of weeks. So yeah, he's gonna have more All-Stars to come, and he's gonna be better. He's probably at the end of the season, you're gonna see him. He's gonna have Manny Machado like numbers. So There's worse places to live in San Diego, and being a part of a San Diego team that's on the cusp of being the next, really good team with all the young talent that they do possess.
That's essentially the next Atlanta Braves right there with the amount of talent they have coming up the pipeline. So could be seen in a couple of years. Completely spaced my mind when we did our All-Star bidding. Who are our All-Star pitchers, or who's starting for you?
Scherzer, 100% Max Scherzer. And then, honestly, Hyunjin Ryu probably deserves to be in consideration. Walker Buehler, I think, makes it, and he's probably in consideration. I think the Cubs send Cole Hamels. I think Cole Hamels makes the All-Star team as well as a starter. He's a guy that, that it'd be nice to see at 36 make another All-Star team. He's pitched very well for the Cubs. But Scherzer's the man. He's the guy. As far as the AL, Charlie Morton's been really good. But I would go Lucas Giolito with the White Sox. I think those are your two front runners. Verlander is always going to be in the mix. Chris Sale is going to be in the mix. I think those are like your normal guys that are going to be in the mix. Garrett Cole has been very good as well. We'll see him.
I was about to hit it with the Garrett Cole, baby. I think he's leading. Yeah, he is leading the American League right now in strikeouts. I want to give it to either him or Giolito. I think that just kind of fit the bill of the All-Star game. It's like this is the new blood in the game. Get used to their names because they're not going anywhere. Along with the old guard, still, the Verlanders, the Sales, they'll still have their names tossed around. But on the NL side, I'm sorry, I'm giving the ball to Walker Buehler to start it. I got to see it in person. The man was throwing 98 into the 7th.
And he's gotten better. The starts after that Cubs start, he's been even better. It's crazy. He's had a very, very good season. Yeah, he deserves it. No arguments for me, but Max Scherzer is Max Scherzer, so there's that.
Do you think Jake Odorizzi will get any All-Star buzz?
I think he makes it. I think he's going to get in. The Twins probably send the most, if not really the most. They'll send close to the most.
There's nobody in the AL with more than one shutout right now.
Really interesting.
Head over to the senior circuit.
No, Mike Minor's got one, right?
Nope, I'm looking at Baseball Reference. It's just one for everybody.
Wait, what? It's complete game shutouts. Mike Minor has one. I know Cole Hamels has one.
Yep, I'm looking at his right now.
No, not Cole Hamels. Kyle Hendricks has one. Kyle Hendricks had an 81 pitch shutout against the Cardinals. I know that. It was a very, very easy 2-hour baseball game in the middle of work. I caught an hour on lunch, and it was like the 5th inning by the end of lunch. And I was like, wow, this has been a very productive lunch break.
Well, let's just keep it rolling, gentlemen. Come on. We're doing good. We're doing good on time. Yeah, I mean, pitching, I think we kind of touched on all the big ones that are going to be that. We mentioned in the last episode how well Kirby Yates is. I think he should be the shutdown option for the NL if they have to close the game out. And I mean, on the American League side, just send the Yankees bullpen. Just send them all.
Yeah, Chapman probably gets in. Ottavino's been very, very good. He probably gets in.
What does Diego Castillo's look like? What is his stats?
He's struggled. He's been struggling the last couple of days, the last couple of weeks. Jose Alvarado's been hurt, so that's why he's not the 9th inning guy. They've been using him as the 9th inning guy, and he's been struggling.
I completely forgot about him. The All-Star game is in Cleveland, but probably Brad Hand's going to be going as well.
Yeah.
Shane Green, Roberto Osuna, Ken Giles.
Those guys, Ken Giles definitely is in. Felipe Vasquez is definitely in my opinion. He's had a very, very good season. The Pirates are sending Felipe Vasquez and Josh Bell, which is crazy. They've had really, really good seasons. Sean Doolittle, maybe. Blake Training's been very up and down. I don't know if Blake Training actually gets in. Matt Chapman was not in the third base vote. That's crazy to me, but I think he gets in. The A's have been really good.
You said Blake Traden, and I pulled up his stat page here. He is having a down season. What's stopping a contender from trying to go and scoop that arm up?
Oakland just be like, yeah, no, that's our closer. No.
Well, let's just take a peek at what Oakland or what the AL West is looking like. There we go. Oakland right now is sitting in third, 8 games back of Houston. Oh, God, the Rangers are in second.
The Rangers have played very, very good baseball.
They are 43-30. The Angels are, in typical Angels fashion, at the halfway point, they are a whopping 40-40.
Sounds about right.
Never change, Anaheim. Never change. You know, the NL West is not fair because the Dodgers have a 13-game lead and we're still not even out of June yet.
Ooh, yeah, it's going to be tough sledding for the rest of that division, but
Oh, sweet Jesus. We already touched on the NL Central being a dogfight. You have 3 teams within 2.5. Phillies 5.5 back of the Braves in the East. On the AL side, you have the Yankees who are slowly starting to pull away. 6 games up on Tampa, 8 on Boston, with the London series looming this weekend. On the Central, we have the Twins sitting on an 8.5 game cushion as well. And then it drops off to 14.5 for the White Sox. So we are starting to see some teams pull away. Like, we're starting to get a good idea of who's going to be the wild card. I think, and that's just, just being outright honest, because how many teams are going to hit a 10-game winning streak versus the team that's in first, loses 8 of 10, 9 of 11, 10 of 12, skids like that. I just don't see those happening.
Yeah, definitely. That's not something that's really feasible. So that why, like, teams like the Pirates are going to be very interesting because they're legitimately in the NL Central race. But if they have a bad week, they're legitimately out the NL Central race. Like, would somebody try to trade Felipe Vasquez? So, like, if you go to Boston and Boston's like, yeah, we'll give you Chavez for Felipe Vasquez. Like, would you trade Chavez for Felipe Vasquez?
And that's kind of where the Pirates found themselves last year when they did the Chris Archer trade. And then, like you said, they had a bad 2-week stretch, and it kind of knocked them out of the running.
Also, that trade was horrible. Tyler Glasnow and Austin Meadows are going to be a fixture in Tampa Bay. Well, I wouldn't say they're going to be a fixture in Tampa Bay's lineup because Tampa Bay is probably going to trade them off for prospects. But they've been a fixture for Tampa Bay's lineup to this season. They've been really good. Glasnow did get hurt, and Meadows got hurt in the beginning of the season, but they've like showed potential, like really good potential.
Meadows is getting all-star buzz, and he was actually on the list of names we went over, and that might be a tough one for Pittsburgh to go back and swallow because Chris Archer has been very average since he got there.
He's been below average. Chris Archer has not been good at all.
It's funny. We mentioned the Rays. I feel like we got to discuss this. They really want to be a home team with 2 homes.
Oh, my God. I forgot all about it. Oh, Jesus. Oh, I don't know what they're doing.
If you mean to tell me I now have to pay taxes to both countries because my team can't even get 5,000 people in their own home, like their actual home, you just have to leave Tampa altogether at that point.
Yeah,
give it up.
I'm not sure what's happening there. It's weird. We're about to see the Tampa Bay X-Rays of Canada.
Expos
X-Rays. That's Rays and Expos combined, the X-Rays. So yeah, I don't know what they're doing. This is weird. A great tweet did surface from it. It was the MLB has given the Cubs permission to have home stadiums in Chicago, in Milwaukee, but a snag was hit because Milwaukee is already a home stadium for the Cubs. Just putting it out there. Wrigley North.
The only no-hitter in Miller Park history was thrown by a Cubs pitcher during a Cubs-Astros game.
Carlos Zambrano, who's making a comeback. He's playing for the Chicago Dogs. He's making a comeback. Like he said he can still throw 88, which that's awesome. If somebody needs a bullpen arm, Carlos Zambrano's available. By the way, like.
Do you think he can still hit?
Oh, 100% he can still hit. That's not an issue.
Wow.
Yeah, you didn't expect to get that news today, did you? Carlos Zambrano on the comeback tour? Yeah.
That's legitimately like, wow. He had a temper. I wonder if he's calmed down in his 40s.
He has. He said he found God. So I mean, I don't know what that means. Finding God. I don't know what that does. So hopefully he's calmed down. I've heard, he works for the Chicago the TV station. So like we've seen him like here in and out and whatnot, and he seems like the Carlos Zambrano that's lovable, the one that's just like very fluffy, is the word that I would go with Carlos Zambrano. Like we've seen that side of Carlos Zambrano. He's found God. He's at a better place. He loves baseball, and he's looking to make a comeback in baseball because of how much he likes baseball. So Carlos Zambrano, lovable guy.
And that was your Carlos Zambrano life update, brought to you by the Bleacher Preacher podcast. Before we wrap this up, Rob, give me your prediction for the second half of the season and your World Series matchup.
The World Series matchup has not changed. It's still the Minnesota Twins versus the Chicago Cubs. Prediction for the second half of the season: Pete Alonso hits 40 home runs and wins Rookie of the Year. NL MVP is won by Nolan Arenado, who in the month of August ends up hitting 360.
I'll make sure to put a time code on that.
Cy Young, we're going to go ahead and we are going to give the Cy Young Award to... I'm drawing a blank on. We're going to give a Cy Young Award to Max Scherzer just because it's Max Scherzer. I think he just does Max Scherzer things. We'll just leave it at that. As far as the AL, Alex Bregman goes crazy. Second half, AL MVP, Alex Bregman. AL Cy Young, I am going to go with Charlie Morton. Charlie Morton, keep throwing those curveballs. I think he has a very good second half, and he's back-to-back AL Cy Youngs with Morton and Blake Snell. AL Rookie of the Year, not sure. I haven't thrown my chips into a basket yet for the AL Rookie of the Year. We'll see who I fancy in a couple of weeks.
All right, so to follow that up with, I'm going with the Astros and the Cubs in the World Series. Give me Garrett Cole, and give me on the NL side for Cy Young. I mean, Scherzer is the easy answer, but you know what? I'll go with Walker Buehler. I'll ride the wave with Walker.
Walker Buehler is going to be very, very good in the second half.
NL MVP will be Cody Bellinger. I just don't see that train coming to a stop anytime soon. Your AL MVP, it's going to be Mike Trout once again, and we're just going to have to live in the Mike Trout MVP world. And my last prediction, there will be no major blockbuster trades in the second half.
None whatsoever.
There'll be minor moves, maybe moderate, but no blockbusters. No, I don't think there'll be deals that swing the balance of powers.
I think Sean Doolittle gets traded. I think Brad Hand gets traded, and I think Felipe Vasquez gets traded. I think the Houston Astros go after one. I think the Boston Red Sox go after one, and I think the LA Dodgers go after one as well. I think the Cubs do make a trade for a left-hander. It's just not going to be a big left-hander. It's going to be a left-hander that's like a middle guy, one of those guys. Yeah.
All right. Well, fair enough, sir. Got anything else?
No, not too much. Go Cubs, go.
Might have to end it with the classic rendition of the Wrigley anthem. With that being said, though, thank you for tuning into this episode of the Bleacher Preacher podcast, guys. You can listen to the show on SoundCloud, Google Play, Stitcher, and the Apple Podcast Network. The show is on Instagram and Twitter. Our Instagram handle is Bleach Preach Pod. Instagram, Bleacher Preacher Podcast. It's the name of the show. Myself, I am on Twitter and Instagram at Jonathan_R. Go ahead and give me a follow. I'm somewhat interesting, I think. I don't know. I have funny retweets every now and then. I kind of have original thoughts every now and then. I kind of find myself in awkward situations, but that's for you to find out. Rob
_BPP. Holla at your boy.
And again, thank you again for tuning in, guys. Be on the lookout for some more episodes down the pipeline. We got NBA free agency starting up soon. That's going to be a hell of a run for the boys on the show. So we look forward to hearing from you guys real soon. Thank you very much, and you guys have a wonderful day.
Peace.